Assalamualaikum students, welcome to another video. Today we will be solving Cambridge IGCSE Physics Paper 4 Variant 4-2 of February-March 2023. Let's begin. A boat crosses a river. The boat points at right angles to the river bank and it travels at a speed of 3.5 meters per second relative to the water. So we have a boat. Let's call this B. And it travels at right angles relative to the water. A river current acts at right angles to the direction the boat points. The river current has a speed of 2.5 meters per second. So let's assume this is a river current and this is in right angles to the boat. So the speed of the boat is 3.5 and the speed of the river current is 2.5. By drawing a scale diagram or by calculation, determine the speed and direction of the boat relative to the river bank. So basically we have to find the direction or the resultant of these two. So here we can use the Pythagoras theorem. So let's call it R. R will be given by 2.5 square plus 3.5 square under root. Put this in your calculator and the answer you will get is 4.3. So we obtain the speed 4.3 meters per second. Now we also have to calculate the direction relative to the river bank. So we are looking for this direction. Let's call it theta. So how can we calculate theta? Well, we know this is the opposite side, this is the adjacent side. So we can use tan. Tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. So opposite we have 3.5, adjacent we have 2.5. So putting this in your calculator you will get 54.46. So you can write it as 54.5 degrees. Speed is a scalar quantity and velocity is a vector quantity. State the names of one other scalar quantity and one other vector quantity. So here you can name any scalar quantity. So we can write time as the scalar quantity and vector quantity can be force. Question 2. Figure 2.1 shows a ship loaded with containers. The ship is made of steel. The density of steel is 7800 kgs per meter cube and the density of water is 1000 kgs per meter cube. Explain why the ship floats in the water. Although the density of steel is greater than the density of water, the ship still floats. Why is that so? Because the average density of the ship is less than the water. So average density ship is less than the water. And also because the ship is not entirely made of steel, there are certain air spaces in the ship as well. So we can also write ship is not completely made of steel. Ship is not made of all steel. The containers with the greatest mass are loaded near the bottom of the ship. State and explain the effect on the stability of the ship of loading the containers in this way. Well, if you put a lot of mass on the bottom, then the center of gravity becomes lower, which makes the ship more stable. So center of gravity lower center of gravity, which makes the ship more stable. Part C. A crane lifts a container 48 meters vertically upwards. The mass of the container is 30,000 kilograms. Calculate the energy transfer to the gravitational potential energy stored in the container. Well, we know when the crane is on the ground, it has zero gravitational potential energy because there is no vertical height to it. But when it is raised vertically, then it gains gravitational potential energy, which can be calculated using the formula mgh. So mass we know is 30,000. Gravitational field strength we have 9.8, and height we have as 48. So putting this in your calculator, you will get 1.4 into 10 to the power 7, and remember to put the unit as well, which is joules. Question 3. State the principle of conservation of energy. Well, the principle says that energy cannot be created nor it can be destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form to another. Not created or destroyed. Only transferred. Part B. A wind turbine has a maximum output power of 1.8 megawatts. The turbine operates at maximum power for 4 hours. Define the unit kilowatt hours. So what is kilowatt hours? It is the energy transferred in 1 hour at a rate of transfer of 1 kilowatt. So the energy transferred in 1 hour transferred in 1 hour at what rate? At 1 kilowatt per hour. Calculate the energy produced by the wind turbine operating at maximum power for 4 hours. So this is very simple. They have given us the output power 1.8 megawatts. So please make sure that you convert it into the correct unit, which is 10 to the power 6 because of mega, and for 4 hours. So put this in your calculator and you will get megawatts. (7,200 kilowatts hour). C. Radiation from the sun is the main source of energy for most of our energy resources. State 2 energy resources that are not due to radiation from the sun. So you can pick any two. We have nuclear. This is not through the sun. And we also have tidal, which is from the waves and not due to the sun. Question 4. Figure 4.1 shows a metal pan on an electric hot plate. The pan contains 200 centimeter cube of water. The pan is heated. The temperature of the water in the pan increases. Thermal energy is transferred through the metal pan by conduction. State and explain the two ways that thermal energy is conducted in a metal. Well, we know that metals have delocalized or free electrons. So one way is transfer of energy through those free electrons. When the electrons move through the metal or when they collide with other particles, so energy is transferred. So one way is through free electrons. and the other is through the lattice vibrations, which transfer energy to neighboring particles. Because it is a solid, so all the atoms or the particles are very close together, so when they vibrate, they transfer the energy to the neighboring particle. Or rather, you can call it lattice vibration. B. The water boils and leaves the liquid as a gas. Explain in terms of forces and distances between particles why the gas occupies a much greater volume than it does as a liquid. Well, we know that gases have very weak intermolecular forces. The forces between the gas particles are very weak, so that's why it occupies a much greater volume. So weak intermolecular forces. And another reason is because the particles in gas are much further apart than in liquids. So gas particles further apart. State two ways in which boiling differs from evaporation. Well, we know that boiling occurs at fixed temperature, whereas evaporation can occur at any temperature, and in evaporation only the particles with the most energy they are released, whereas boiling occurs throughout the liquid. So occurs C. The water is replaced with 200 centimeter cubes of milk. The initial temperature of the milk is 20 Celsius. The boiling point of milk is 95 Celsius. The milk starts to boil when 60,700 joules of thermal energy has been transferred to it. The density of milk is 1.03 grams per centimeter cube. Calculate the value of the specific heat capacity of milk. Okay, first we have to calculate the mass of the milk that we have. So we can calculate that using the formula density is equals to mass over volume. We are given the density, which is 1.03. We have to calculate the mass, and the volume we are given 200 centimeter. So from here we get the mass as 206. Now we can use the formula energy is equals to mc delta T, where E is the energy provided, m is the mass, C is the specific heat capacity which we have to calculate, and delta T is the change in temperature. So we are given 60,700 energy, mass which is calculated as 206 grams, and change in temperature is 95 minus 20, so 75. This is your specific heat capacity. So when you put this in the calculator, your answer will come out to be 3.93. and here remember you will have to give the unit as well. So the unit will be joules per gram Celsius. Question 5. Figure 5.1 shows a semicircular transparent plastic block. A ray of light is incident normally on the curved surface of the block. The refractive index of the plastic is 1.5. Calculate the critical angle for the plastic. So the formula for critical angle is n is equals to 1 over sine c, where c is your critical angle. So they have given us the refractive index 1.5, 1 over sine c. So we'll take the sine c on that side, bring the 1.5 over here, so we'll get sine c is equals to 1 over 1.5. So put this in your calculator, sine inverse of 1 over 1.5, and you'll get the critical angle as 41.8 degrees. On figure 5.1, draw the path of the ray in the block and after the ray emerges from the block. So we know that inside the block we'll have the same ray, and at this point the ray will get reflected and it will reflect back with the same angle. So if this is theta, so it will reflect with the same angle theta here as well. Figure 5.2 is a full-scale diagram of a lens and an object O. The point marked F shows the position of a principal focus on the lens. Determine the focal length of the lens. So this is your focal length. So you will take your scale and on the paper you will calculate this. So whatever the answer comes here, it should be something around 7.2 centimeters. On figure 5.2, draw two rays from the object to locate the image. Well, this is the standard way of finding out the image of the object. So we make two rays, one through the top of the object and one through the center of the lens, which is this point. So these two will be parallel and they will meet somewhere over here. Somewhere over here you will form, the image will form. So this will be your image. Figure 5.3 shows a simplified diagram of an eye with rays from a distant object and the path of the rays inside the eye of a person with short sight. On figure 5.4, draw an additional lens outside the eye to correct short-sightedness and show the path of the rays inside the eye. So we know that in order to correct short-sightedness, we can use a diverging lens. So we will place the diverging lens over here. We draw it like something like this, and when they pass through the eye, they all diverge at this point, at the retina. This is the retina. So this is how you will draw a diagram. Question 6. Sound waves have compressions and rarefactions. Explain what is meant by compression and rarefaction. So compression is the region where particles are closer together. So if this is the sound wave, let's suppose, this is the sound wave that we have, excuse me. So this area is a compression, and as they get further apart, this is your rarefaction. So compression is the area where particles are closer together. Particles closer together, and rarefactions is the region where particles are further apart. B. We can see the light from the sun, but we cannot hear any sound from it. State the reason for this. So So we know that light does not need any medium to transfer. It can travel in vacuum as well, whereas sound needs a medium. So we can write that sound needs a medium to travel. During a thunderstorm, an observer sees the lightning almost immediately but hears the sound of the thunder several seconds later. The thunder and lightning are produced at the same time. The sound of the thunder is heard 9 seconds after the lightning is seen. The speed of sound in air is 340 meters per second. Calculate the distance from the thunderstorm to the observer. So we have the formula: speed is equals to distance upon time. They have given us the speed, which is 340. They want to calculate the distance. The time they have given is 9 seconds. So just plug this in your calculator. You will get the answer as 3060 meters. In a lightning strike, there is a current of 3 into 10 to the power 4 amperes for 48 milliseconds. Calculate the charge that flows. We know the formula for charge is Q is equals to IT, where I is your current and T is your time. But here be careful that time it should be in seconds, and we have given time in milliseconds, so we'll have to convert that into seconds. So we'll write current 3 10 to the power 4, and seconds would become 48 into 10 to the power minus 3, since it is milliseconds. So the answer is 1440 coulombs. And please be careful to always write the unit, otherwise you lose marks. Question 7. Define potential difference. We know the potential difference is V is equals to I'll write it over here. V is equals to work done per unit charge. So you can just write the definition here, or you can write this in words as well. It's your choice. Work done per unit charge. Part B. State the equation which defines electromotive force, EMF. So it is the same over here, since EMF is calculated in volts. So it is the same definition for this as well. Work done per unit charge. The EMF of a battery is 9 volts. The battery is in a circuit. Calculate the work done with a battery when it moves a charge of 30 coulombs around a complete circuit. So we will use the formula that we just wrote. They have given us the EMF, which is 9. We have to calculate the work done, and we are giving the charge, which is 30. So answer is 270 joules. Since work done is a form of energy, so answer will be in joules. A circuit consists of a DC power supply, a lamp, and a thermistor. Draw a circuit diagram of these components connected in series. So you should know the symbols of all these components, and they've asked us to draw in series. So this is relatively easy. This is how you make a DC supply with a positive terminal and a negative terminal. Then you have your lamp, and then you have your thermistor, and you connect it in series. So this is how you will make the diagram. This is your lamp, this is your thermistor, this is your DC power supply. Explain what happens in the circuit you have drawn when the temperature of the thermistor is increased. So we know that when the temperature increases, when the temperature goes up, the resistance of the thermistor decreases, and because of this the resistance of the circuit decreases, hence there is a greater current in the lamp. Greater current in the lamp, so we can write this as current in lamp increases, due to which it glows brighter, because there is a greater potential difference across the lamp, due to which it glows brighter. Question 8. Figure 8.1 shows a horizontal flat coil in a magnetic field. The coil is connected to a cell. The coil rotates. Determine the direction of the movement of the side AB relative to the plane of the coil. Well, here you will have to use Fleming's left hand rule. So we know that the magnetic field is always from south to north. So take your left hand and point your index finger towards south to north. When you do so, you will see that your thumb, which is the force, points upwards. So the force will be like this. So it will cause the coil to move in an anti-clockwise direction. Explain how you determine the direction in A. So here you just have to explain that you use the Fleming's left hand rule. Your index finger was pointing towards the left, which is from south to north, and hence your thumb, your force finger, pointed upwards. Or you can also say that the current and magnetic field and the motion, all three of these are at right angles to each other. State and explain what happens to the coil as it reaches the vertical position. So when it reaches the vertical position, which is, if I were to make it, okay, this is incorrect. If I were to make it, it would be something like this. When it reaches the vertical position, the coil at that moment it stops and it comes back from the other direction. So the turning effect decreases. The turning effect at that particular point is 0, and because of that it changes direction. So since it is of 2 marks, you write 2 points. The coil stops at the vertical position. The coil stops. And the turning effect reverses. Part D. To operate the motor, a split ring commutator and brushes are added to parts shown in figure 8.1. So a split ring commutator will be added here. Here you will add the split ring commutator and brushes. Explain the effects of the split ring commutator and the brushes on the action of the motor. So why is the split ring commutator used? Because it reverses the current. The entire purpose of a split ring commutator is to reverse the current. And what do the brushes do? The brushes ensure that the current is maintained in the same direction. and here you can also write that the brushes in the split ring commutator, they allow the current to change direction without the wire getting tangled, so it allows the continuous motion of the coil. You can add that point as well. Question 9. A nuclear power station has a reactor where controlled nuclear fission of uranium-235 takes place. Explain what is meant by nuclear fission. So since it is of 3 marks, you have to write 3 points. So first, what is nuclear fission? Nuclear fission occurs when a larger nuclei breaks down into a smaller nuclei. So when does it happen? When the nucleus is unstable. So you can write a large unstable nucleus breaks down into smaller nuclei, from larger to smaller. And what happens in this process? Energy is reduced in this process. So these are your 3 points. State one advantage and one disadvantage of generating electrical power in nuclear power stations compared with electrical power generated using wind turbines. What can be an advantage? Well, one advantage can be that this will ensure a continuous supply of energy. So continuous supply of energy since it will not be dependent on the weather. Let's suppose one day there is no wind, so our energy production will not be affected. A disadvantage is that nuclear power stations, the resources for that are not infinite, they are non-renewable, so eventually we will run out of nuclear resources, so non-renewable. Whereas wind is obviously, it is a renewable source, it is always available and we will never run out of wind. Deuterium is an isotope of hydrogen with 1 proton and 1 neutron. Nuclear fission occurs when 2 nuclei of deuterium combine. An isotope of helium and a neutron are formed. Use nuclide notation to write down the nuclide equation for this reaction. So they have given us that deuterium has 1 proton and 1 neutron. So we'll write that as H since it is an isotope. Since it has 1 proton and 1 neutron, its nucleon number will be 2. So there are 2 of these. They convert into an isotope of helium and a neutron. So balancing the equation, you will get this equation. A neutron has 1 neutron and obviously 0 protons, so this is your equation. The helium atom will have 2 protons and 1 neutron. Okay. Moving on to the last question. The time taken for Mars to orbit the Sun is 690 Earth days. The average orbital radius of Mars is 2.28 into 10 to the power 8 kilometers. An Earth day is 24 hours. Calculate the average orbital speed of Mars in kilometers per second. So here we will use the equation for orbital speed, which is v is equals to 2 pi r over t, where r is the orbital radius and t is the time taken. So plugging this information into the equation, we will have 2 pi r is the radius, which is 2.28 into 10 to the power 8 over the time taken, 24 hours. Be careful, we will have to convert the 24 hours into seconds because the SI unit of time is in seconds. So 24 hours into second. 1 hour has 3600 seconds. So 24 into 3600. When you put this in the calculator, you will get answer as 24 kilometers per second. State the shape of the orbits of the planets. Well, we know that the shape of the orbit is always elliptical. All planets have elliptical orbits. Light from a distant galaxy is redshifted. Explain what is meant by redshift. Redshift is the phenomenon when wavelength of light from distant galaxy increases. So wavelength, I'll write it as this, increases. And why does this happen? Because the galaxies are moving away from Earth. Galaxies moving away from Earth. State the quantity that the redshift of a galaxy is used to calculate. Well, we use redshift to calculate the velocity with which a galaxy is moving away. Velocity of galaxy moving away from the Earth. Moving away from Earth. So with that, we come to the end of our paper. If you like the video, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.